What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Hasbro Studio Series 86 Slug, or as we know and call him, Slag. So this was sent to me by Toy Dojo. I purchased all the Studio Series 86 from them, and I have reviewed a lot of them already. This is kind of the last one, so I appreciate them sending it out to me. If you're interested in this, you can click the link in the description below to pick up your Studio Series 86 figures. So let's take a quick 360 on this guy. He does have some paint detail on him, so I'll point that out. You got the chest piece here is painted in that silverish color. A little bit of paint here on the knees, the metallic blue and the green. Paint on the feet here in that gold. Here's the side, you have a little bit of matte black paint there. Looks kind of neat. Here's the back. We'll see this more in the dyno mode, but he does have some paint here on the back. Some kibble and parts back here, but that's kind of expected for the Dinobots. You also have paint on the head, which I was actually kind of surprised. You've got a painted face and painted blue eyes. It's a really nice looking head sculpt. He does come with a couple of accessories. So you do get his blaster here, and this is painted in this same color as his chest here. And you can put that into his hand. And of course he comes with Daniel Witwicky in the exosuit. Once again, they've made it so his knees cannot bend, so he's stuck in this weird pose. I really don't love that. We'll talk about those legs in just a second, but unfortunately you can only have him kind of pose like this, and also it doesn't have a face. You can see it's just painted white on the dome here. So even though if you look at the actual box image, let's see, he does have a face here on the side of the box. But unfortunately, there's no face here. And it does have some paint on it. You got the yellow paint here, a little bit of blue paint here, and then the hands are painted. But overall, I feel the same way I did about the wheelie figure we got with the Grimlock, which is right here. Same problem, right? Bent knees, really not enough articulation. It looks fine, but it just needs knees. I mean, that's really all they need to make this better. But that's really it. You get the articulation on the arms are on a ball joint. So they rotate in and out and they go all the way around. The legs are also on a ball joint, go around and then in and out. Of course, you've got the waffles there, so pretty much useless to me. We'll not talk about them again. Let's move on to Slug, or as they call him. The head is on this joint here, so you can actually see this joint actually moves up and down. I don't know if it's meant to lock in, but it doesn't lock in. So you can get down to there, up to there. The head will rotate around, and the head is actually on a ball joint. So you can get up and down, a little bit of side to side. He does have these wings back here, and they can flip backwards, so you kind of want them backwards and out, or you can pose them however you like. The shoulders rotate all the way around on a ratchet. They go up to here, nice cover down piece there that covers up. Rotation at the bicep. Single jointed elbow, but you can pass 90 degrees due to the sculpt there. The wrist rotates. And the wrist is actually painted. I forgot to mention that. It's painted that glossy black color. You have a rotation at the waist. Unfortunately, when you do that, it kind of knocks this backpack out of place. The backpack is held on by the loosest tension ever. Any little touch or movement will knock this loose, but it's supposed to sit like that on his back. Continuing down, you have the legs on a ratchet. And the hip skirts move with it, which is kind of a good way to do business on those legs. And again, I've knocked this backpack out again. Out to the side on friction. Unfortunately, my legs are very, very loose. They're in this direction. They just don't hold. And then for the knee ratchet, you have a double jointed knee. So it gets you the full bend. But again, unfortunately loose on that joint. So there's a little bit too much play. So you can see that play there. And then there's play here too on this ratchet. Right between the ratchets, there's just a lot of play. So what ends up happening is you try to pose him and he ends up leaning backwards or leaning forwards if you don't have this right. And that's the play causes that problem. Continuing down, you do have the ankle tilt here. Goes all the way to there. No movement the other direction. And it does lock in. So if you want it straight, you can lock it in. But you get all the way out to there, which is nice. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the Earthrise or Netflix Optimus Prime, and then the Studio Series 86 Grimlock. And that size looks really good. He's about head to head with Grimlock. The face for the Dino mode is a little bit taller, which is appropriate for, at least for the movie. And then they're appropriately taller than Optimus Prime. All that looks good. All right, now let's get Slug transformed into his Dino mode. Go ahead and take the gun and set that aside. We can take the hands here. You're going to rotate those 180 degrees, and those are going to fold in to the legs. Same on this side. Pull that in. I guess it's the arm, but it's going to become the legs. You can fold those forward. Take these panels, if they haven't already flipped forward. They tend to move kind of on their own. They don't kind of lock in place, but you want those upwards. Take and open this head panel here. Very similar transformation to a lot of figures for other figures like for Slag, even third party. Go ahead and open this up. This is going to fold upwards. So you have the mouth inside, the head inside the mouth, and then this is going to go all the way up like that, and then you can open this a little bit. So this red piece is covering down on the face, so it doesn't look like he has a head inside his mouth, which is a good design. Leave this open here. We're going to go ahead and take these pieces here. They're going to accordion on a double hinge. So accordion it inwards on that double hinge, and they're going to set inside there. So again, on this side, accordion on that double hinge, and that's going to set inside. There we go. All right. Go ahead and take this. This is actually a tight fit, so you kind of have to push it kind of hard, but it does fit and lock in there. Right, come to the back here. You can extend out this tail. All of this kind of sits very loosely in the back, so you won't have any problem taking that out. Come to the bottom here. Open up this panel here. Unpeg this. The leg's going to rotate to the outside. You can close this back up and rotate the waist here. And the whole leg is going to accordion down and end up like this. Right? On the bottom here, there is a little peg point. This is going to come out, so you can put it there now, but it's going to come out eventually, so you might have to redo that. So same on this side. Go ahead and open up that. Flip the leg to the outside. And we're going to accordion the leg down. Oh, I forgot to close this. And again, we're going to peg it onto the bottom here. So the two legs are kind of attached to his crotch, but again, those might come out later, so just keep an eye on that. I'm going to take this here. This is going to come downwards. Take the tail. That's going to swing down. There's two tabs here on the side of the tail. So get those lined up with the holes on the side of the legs right there. So get that lined up and then push the legs together. And this kind of holds together the whole thing. So you really need to get that in. And then this tail is going to push down and peg into the feet there. Right? Looks like those did come out, but that's just how it is. Sure. Okay. Go ahead and take these panels here, and these are going to tab in. There is a slot right there. It's going to hit on this tab. So make sure you line that up. And that can be a little tricky because you're doing it in the blind, but there you go. Same on this side. Get that tabbed in. Come to the back here. These legs are going to fold outwards and going to make the legs. I'll talk about that later. Same on this side. Hold this down. And make sure you get the head pegged in here so his collar should fit together like that. All right, last little bit here, and I don't love this, but this is the way it works. Take the gun, and that's going to peg into the bottom and make the rest of his tail. Otherwise, you have a hole in the tail. So you kind of need this. And there you have Slag in his Dino mode. Pretty good looking, at least from the front. Very nice looking. It's got that gold paint for the head, the Auto Tempoed logo, nice painted blue eyes. The mouth does open. There is a peg port there, so if you want to take any of the Earthrise or any really blast effect. You can plug that in there. You can be breathing fire, just like the, I believe the Grimlock also had that feature if you wanted to use it. So that's nice. He does have painted horns, but oh man, why would, and they're also kind of loose. They kind of seem to pop out for some reason. I don't know why, but they really didn't need to skimp on the material here. That's just a strange place to skimp on material. Here's the side. You do get this painted detail, which actually ends up looking really nice in the dyno mode. You got this silver paint here, and then the matte black here and here. That all looks good. You got the gold paint back here. You got the tail with the gun in it. It's not too bad. I don't love having this protrusion here. I would have preferred just a gold tail and just put the gun up here. Actually, in fact, if you prefer, you can put the gun up here and store it that way, but then his tail looks incomplete. So I would leave it back here. I don't love that look. The back of the legs really just, that is waffleness to its best, right? I mean, that's just really kind of messy. The feet also are really kind of messy. They don't look great. Speaking of that, let's talk about articulation. The arms rotate around on a ratchet joint. The feet on the front can go up to there, out to there. They go out to the side all the way out. The rear legs can rotate around on this joint. The leg, or I guess the knee, can bend back here, and then the toe can go back and forth. So you can get him in some walking poses. And for size comparison, there it is next to Studio Series Grimlock. Perfect. Looks perfect with this guy. I like how he's nice and big and, you know, got that potato shape. It looks right. And next to Grimlock, it looks great. So good scale and match overall. So final thoughts on the Studio Series 86 Slag. Let's start with the positives. I think the paint where it's applied looks good. The gun, the head and the eyes, the chest, the knees, the feet, and then all the Dinobot parts all look good. And the paint is well applied and stands out. The gun itself is a nice accessory. The Daniel Witwicky figure is not. I mean, this is kind of a useless accessory. I forgot to mention there are these little holes here on the side of the legs, so he can sit on him in dyno mode, and there's 2 pegs right here on his back. So if you want, you know, Daniel Witwicky can be riding him in dyno mode by clipping to those pegs. But other than that, this is a pretty much useless figure because he's in this sitting pose and he looks like he's pooping. Pretty silly accessory. Other negatives, the waffles are kind of an issue for me. So here, especially these horns, you know, those are front and center. You see those right away, especially in dyno mode, but even in robot mode, that just must have been a couple pennies. I'm not sure why they did that. Same with the rear of the hind legs. Those are just waffle, they're holes. And then the tail here, although you can fill out the tail with the gun, I just would have preferred a gold piece to fill that out. The backpack and the tail as well also is very loose. It's supposed to peg in like this, but it is kind of loose. And I have the same problem with these legs. You know, the legs don't really stay. Now, do I recommend him? I kind of have to recommend it because it's the first Slag we've gotten in years, and it's really cartoon accurate. It looks really good. It's probably one of the best we've gotten ever. And if you're collecting the Series 86 versions of the Dinobots, or just all the Studio Series 86, you're going to need him to go with it. So I kind of have to recommend him because he's the only Slag we're probably going to ever get, at least in the near future. But I do feel like Grimlock was a better value and overall better quality and better built compared to Slag. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.